Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're tackling one of the most frustrating, painful, and honestly, just flat out ride ruining problems you can encounter out on the trail: saddle sores. If you spend enough time on a mountain bike, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? We're going to break down exactly what they are, why they happen, and most importantly, how you can banish them from your rides for good. So, picture this. One day, you're cruising comfortably down your favorite single track, flowing through the trees, just having the absolute time of your life. But then, the very next day, you're wincing every single time your sit bones hit the bike, doing that awkward cowboy walk around the trailhead. Look, I want to assure you right off the bat, if you've experienced this sudden sharp pain, it's a completely universal cycling experience. It's especially common when you're up in your mileage or spending way longer hours on the bike. You are definitely not alone in this. Here is our trail map to comfort for today. First, we'll look at what saddle sores actually are, then the four main causes, how to prevent them, treating them once you have them, and finally, when it's time to see a doctor.
Okay, part one. What are saddle sores? So the crucial point here is that saddle sores aren't just, a vague muscle soreness from spending too much time sitting down. Actually, scratch that. They are specific, painful areas of irritated skin right where your body makes physical contact with the bike saddle. They usually start off as simple chafing, but if you ignore that early morning, and let's face it, we've all been guilty of that, they can escalate rapidly into inflamed bumps, blisters, or even infected hair follicles. It's a progressive skin irritation, not just a muscle ache.
So, how do you know if a sore is brewing? Well, keep an eye out for these common symptoms. It almost always begins with redness and tenderness, followed by that unmistakable, annoying chafing sensation. From there, you might notice swollen bumps, a sharp pain, specifically when sitting or pedaling, or skin that feels unusually warm and irritated to the touch. Catching these early warning signs is absolutely crucial. It allows you to intervene before it literally ruins your whole week of riding. Moving on to Section 2, the four causes of saddle sores.
The mechanics behind this discomfort basically come down to four main enemies of your skin, and this brilliantly illustrates the perfect storm of trail conditions. First up, we've got friction, that repeated, relentless rubbing between your skin, your clothing, and the saddle. Second is pressure. Prolonged sitting places constant weight on sensitive areas, which cuts down circulation. Third is moisture. Sweat creates a damp environment that actually softens the skin, making it incredibly vulnerable to breaking down. And finally, poor fit and gear. This could be a saddle tilted at the wrong angle or shorts with loose, irritating seams. When these four combine, your skin just doesn't stand a chance.
Which brings us to Section 3, how to prevent saddle sores. Let's move to a high-level view of our incredibly practical 5-step prevention plan. By focusing on wearing quality shorts, ensuring your saddle fits properly, keeping everything squeaky clean, using chamois cream, and building up your mileage gradually, you can literally stop these sores before they even start. Looking a bit closer at clothing and hygiene, the differences between good and bad habits are pretty stark. Good habits mean wearing snug, padded cycling shorts, often called a chamois, that fit perfectly without bunching. It means showering as soon as possible after your ride and washing those shorts after every single use. Bad habits? Sitting around in your sweaty clothing for hours or relying on totally worn-out padding that's completely lost its support. But here is perhaps the most critical rule of all. Never, ever wear underwear beneath your padded cycling shorts. Going commando is absolutely mandatory here. Those extra seams from underwear directly increase friction right where you definitely don't want it. Now, beyond clothing, your bike setup is just as vital. Not every saddle fits every rider. It's kind of like finding the right pair of shoes. A good saddle should support your sit bones while minimizing pressure on soft tissue. If you're experiencing discomfort, you need to look at these adjustments. Try a different saddle width entirely. Play around with the saddle angle. Double-check your saddle height as well as the fore-aft position, which just means how far forward or backward the seat is on its rails. Seriously, even millimeter-level adjustments here can relieve a massive amount of pressure. Another absolute game changer in your prevention arsenal is Chamois cream. So many mountain bikers swear by this stuff, especially on those multi-hour rides. Applying a barrier cream actively reduces the rubbing, protects the skin from moisture breakdown, and just vastly improves your overall comfort. It directly combats the friction and sweat issues we talked about earlier. All right, Section 4, treating your saddle sores. So, unfortunately, if a sore has already developed, early treatment is key. Step 1. Take a break from riding. I know, it's super tough to stay off the bike, but pausing your rides for a day or two is often the absolute fastest way back to the trail. Step 2, keep the area scrupulously clean and dry, washing gently with mild soap. Step 3, avoid additional friction off the bike by wearing loose-fitting clothing. You've got to give the area room to breathe. And step 4, apply protective barrier creams or healing ointments to help that irritated skin recover in peace.
Which leads us to our final section, Section 5, when to see a doctor.
While home treatment usually does the trick, we need to make a serious pivot here because you must pay attention to these specific red flags. If you notice increasing redness or swelling, if there's pus or drainage, if the pain becomes incredibly severe, if you develop a fever, or if the sore simply doesn't improve after several days of rest, you need to seek medical attention. These symptoms are clear indicators of a severe infection that requires professional medical treatment, not just a day off the bike. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it completely challenges that classic athlete mindset of no pain, no gain. The source material is incredibly clear on this. Continuing to ride with a painful or infected saddle sore does not make you tougher. It just makes the sore significantly worse and drastically prolongs your healing time. Pushing through the pain is actually entirely counterproductive to getting back to what you love doing. Look, saddle sores are incredibly common, but they absolutely do not have to be a normal part of your riding experience. By dialing in your bike fit, investing in quality gear, maintaining strict hygiene, and actually listening to your body, you can keep the chafing at bay. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought to really reflect on before your next ride. Take a hard look at your current gear and bike geometry. Is your saddle setup actively helping, or is it secretly hurting your next ride?